of you who are new, joining for the first time, we are discussing important mathematical things like differentiation, integration, vectors and all in first few classes. And these are the things which are very much important for 12th. So far, we have done differentiation, integration and little bit of vectors. So those who are joining for the first time, after the class, I will send you the link of previous lectures. You can go through those things. Pardon? So, we were discussing vectors. And so far I have explained the concept of I cap and j cap. Something which is very easy, but I gave a homework in the last class. So those who are new, they will understand this concept of vector with the help of this example. Suppose gravitational field of an object is given by 3 I cap minus 4 j cap meters per second square. This is the gravitational field. In 12th, we'll deal with electric field. This is something which you did in 11th. So we have been given gravitational field of 3 I cap minus 4 j cap meters per second square. This was a homework question for the last class. Now, aim is to find magnitude and at the same time we need to provide direction. So how do we do that? If you are looking for magnitude, then it's very easy and elementary thing. Simply do what? Coefficient of I, square of that. Coefficient of j, square of that. Which gives you 5 meters per second square. Anything in terms of I and j, you always go for square, square. You don't have to worry about the negative sign. Upon squaring, it will be what? Positive only. Next comes how to plot this vector. Now, plotting a vector is very important thing, and therefore pay attention to the next part. If they ask you to plot something like this, 3 I cap minus 4 j cap, then first of all, draw the axis system in this form. Now, we are dealing with I cap and minus of j cap. Remember the steps. I cap and minus of j cap. Write down these things in this axis system. This is your I cap. This is your minus of j cap. This is x-axis, this is minus x. This is y-axis, this is minus y. So this is I and this is minus j. Then, for I cap, draw an arrow of length 3. Towards the I cap, draw an arrow of length 3. Roughly we draw an arrow, its length is what? 3. Similarly, towards minus j cap, you will draw an arrow of length 4. Towards minus j cap, you will draw an arrow of length 4. Now, once you have done this, you will complete a rectangle using these two arrows. Rectangle. Now, once you have drawn the rectangle, from the origin, complete the diagonal and put this arrowhead. From the origin, complete the diagonal and put the arrowhead. This blue line or blue arrow which you see is nothing but gravitational field. In vectors, length gives you the magnitude. Now, if I say that it is a rectangle, then this is 3, this length is also 3. That is the reason we say that magnitude or length of this arrow is what? Root over 3 square plus 4 square. Then comes direction part. This I cap is also called east. This minus j cap is also called south. When you see something like this, many a times people will go for direction in this form, southeast. But remember, it's not southeast. When you say southeast, then this angle should be exactly 45 degrees, which it is not. And therefore, you will say that this angle is what? Theta. And once you say this is theta, what is tan of theta? What is tan of theta? Perpendicular divided by base. What is the perpendicular? 3. What is the base? 4. Remember, it's not minus 4. What is this length? 4. What is this length? 3. What is tan of theta coming? 3 by 4. This 3 by 4 is basically theta equals to tan inverse 3 by 4, or is also called 37 degrees. It's a special value, you can remember it. Whenever you have tan inverse 3 by 4, it gives you what? 37 degrees like this. Now, it's not complete yet. So, the aim is to represent gravitational field, or aim is to decode this command. After you decode this command, you got what? Gravitational field of 5. This is the magnitude. How do you provide direction? You will say that this much gravitational field is at an angle of 37 degrees. Gravitational field is at an angle of 37 degrees. But 37 degrees from where? 37 degrees from south. You've taken 37 degrees from south towards east. From south to east. That's how we decode something like this. In 12th, they will simply replace gravitational field with electric field, and you get a similar question. We can replace electric field with magnetic field. Doesn't matter. Any vector, if it is in terms of I and j, then how to decode it is this process. Remember it. Note down everything. Well, one person finds that screen is blurred. Is it the problem with everyone? Does everyone see the screen blurred? And Samriddhi, do one thing, disconnect and reconnect, and then things will improve. Now, let's talk about dot product. And again, those who are new, it's a fast revision of these things. If you think that your concepts of differentiation, integration, and vectors are very much weak, then simply tell me this thing. You don't have to send a message that, sir, this part is weak, I'm weak in differentiation, I feel things difficult in integration of vectors, something like that. And I will send you a detailed lecture which will clear each and everything. Right now, I'm explaining all these things, assuming you have done a little bit of dot product or cross product or something like that. So what is dot product? You have two vectors A and B, A dot B. It becomes AB cos theta. This dot, you know, that is also called scalar product. So once you take a dot, the thing which you get is what? AB cos theta. This whole thing only has what? Magnitude. This thing has no direction. So whenever you go for scalar product or dot product, remember we are interested in the magnitude part. We are not interested in direction part. What is theta? If we are being given two vectors A and B, the angle between the vectors is theta. This is that theta. Now, they may not give you vectors already joined with their tails. And therefore, if they give you vectors separately, one vector is drawn here, other vector is drawn here, then how do we find theta? We always join tails of these two vectors and then we find this angle theta. This is something which I explained in the last lecture. So those who are new, just don't worry. I will send you the lecture and you will get the required information. But as of now, whenever we go for theta, theta is angle between A and B provided they both are joined with their tails together. In fact, write down this as a statement. Theta is angle between vector A and vector B theta is angle between vector A and vector B, and for theta both vectors should be joined with their tails together. Now, very elementary part first. If I ask you, what is A dot A? When you take dot product A dot A, then what is A dot A? You will say that, let's do one thing. It's a very elementary thing, very easy thing. I hope you can answer it. What's the meaning of A dot A? Write it down in the comment box. Let's see how much you are comfortable with dot and all. So what do you understand with A dot A? Write down this in the comment box. Let me see how many of you are already comfortable with these things. Good. What is A dot A? Let's say you have a vector A, and you are taking its dot product with itself. This is A. They both are same vectors. Vector A, vector A. So if you have two same vectors, let's say this is A and this is A, if they both are parallel because they are same vectors, then what is the angle between the vectors? 0. How do you open dot product? How do you open dot? This is A vector. What is this? Magnitude of vector A. This is B vector. What is this? Magnitude of vector B. So, magnitude of A multiplied by cos of angle between these two vectors, which is 0. And what is cos 0? 1. So this gives you what? A square. If this is A square, then what is A? A is also root over A dot A. Root over A dot A. Now what is this? Same thing, but this is something which we already did in today's class, and I will come back for this part. Before that, let's go for dot product of unit vectors like I, J and K. Now, I hope you already know these things, that I cap dot I cap dot I cap is, again, write down the answer in the comment box. First, what do you think I cap dot I cap is? Very elementary thing. Just write down the answer in the comment box. What is dot product of unit vector I and unit vector I? There are two ways to answer this. First, this. If they give you same vectors, if they give you two same vectors, then their dot product is what? Magnitude square. What do you mean by I cap? This I cap is a unit vector. What's the meaning of unit? Unit means 1. So if they give you I cap dot I cap, then this is simply what? 1 square. Magnitude square, which is 1. Or you could have done this. How do you open dot? Magnitude of first multiplied by magnitude of second multiplied by cos of angle between these two, which is what? 0. That is 1. Now, just remember this, that I cap dot I cap is J cap dot J cap is K cap dot K cap is always what? 1. This is 1 only if you have unit vectors. Otherwise, if you are taking dot product of two same vectors, then this is what? Square of their magnitude. I hope you already know these things, but as I told you, we are into fast revision. On the same line, if you go for I cap dot j cap, now you open I cap dot j cap, this is 1 into cos of 90. This is I, this is j. So what is the angle between I and j? 90. So angle between I and j is 90, like this. Then what is cos 90? 0. Cos 90 is what? 0. Which means if you go for j dot k, that is also 0. If you go for I dot k, that is also 0. In fact, any two vectors, whether they are unit vectors or not, it doesn't matter. If you have two vectors which are mutually perpendicular, once you say mutually perpendicular, you will get what? Cos of 90. Cos 90 is what? 0. So whenever you have two mutually perpendicular vectors, their dot product is always 0. Do one thing, note down this and then we'll write the statement also. Note down this much fast. Write down the statement. Dot product of any two mutually perpendicular vectors is always 0. Dot product of any two mutually perpendicular vectors is always 0. But this is 1 only if you are dealing with unit vectors. Otherwise, a square. Now, once we have the information of I and j, if they give us let's say we have been given two vectors a and b. We have been given two vectors a and B in this form. 3i cap minus 4j cap plus 5k cap. B vector 2i cap plus j cap minus 3k cap. Let me first check whether you already know these things or not. This will be, write down dot product of A and B in the comment box. Note down this and write down the answer in the comment box. Should not take more than 30 seconds. This is a very easy elementary question. How do you handle something like this? How do you handle something like this? This is I. When you are multiplying this with this, what is going to happen? You will multiply I with this I. You will multiply I with this j. You will multiply I with this k. So whenever you go for multiplication, you know that you will be multiplying this thing with these numbers. But you already know that I j dot is what? 0. I k dot is what? 0. And therefore, you don't have to worry about these two. You will simply multiply I with I. What is that? 3 into 2, 6. What is I into I? 1. Similarly, when you go for j, you will multiply j with I, which is 0, j with k, which is also 0, j with j. That gives you what? Minus of 4. 5 with 3, minus of 15. One of the easiest thing is to take dot product in this form. What we do, multiply coefficient of I with I, multiply coefficient of j with j, multiply coefficient of k with k. That's how we find dot product. Now what is this? 6 minus 4 minus 2 minus 15 plus 2 is coming minus of 30. We have found the value of dot product. What is the approach? I with I, j with j and k with k. Now, once you do this, A dot B and you get that A dot B is coming minus of 13. Let me see if you can give me the angle between vector A and vector B. I'll give you 1 minute's time for this. Same question, and we need to find angle between A and B. Remember, these are very elementary things. If you find them difficult, just don't worry. Maybe you find these things difficult because you have not done vectors in detail when you were in 11th. And therefore I told you that send me a request and I will give you all the detailed lectures for vectors. But believe me, all these things are very elementary things. So the question is that this is A and this is B. We have found A dot B, and our aim is now to find angle between A and B. I'm giving you 1 minute's time. Let's see how many of you can find this angle A and B. Note down this much. Well, for those who find it difficult, just look here. First thing, how to find angle between A and B. Where do you see this angle theta? When you write A dot B, it gives you A, B, cos of theta. Question says find out theta. Now, what is A dot B? We have already calculated this thing. If they are giving you vector in terms of I, J and K, you know that it's very easy. I, J, J, K, K. And we got A dot B as minus of 13. Now, what did I tell you about A and B? This A is what? Magnitude of vector A. This B is magnitude of vector B. This is A. If this is A, then how do you find A? How do you find magnitude? Coefficient of I, square of that, 9. Coefficient of J, square of that, 16. Coefficient of K, square of that, 25. Very elementary thing, very simple thing. How do you find magnitude? I square, J square, K square under the root. This is your 50 or 5 root 2. That's value of A. This is B. Then what is B? Root over, same thing, square, square, square. This is 4. Coefficient of J is 1. Minus 3, square is what? 9. This is coming root over 14. 10 plus 4, 14. So you got A, you got B. Now, what is A? 5 root 2. What is B? Root over 7 into 2 cos theta. This is 14. Now let's find it 7 into 2. Why? Because you can see now that this is 5 root 2 multiplied by root 2. This is root 2 is 2 multiplied by root 7. Root 2 multiplied by root 2 into cos of theta is minus of 30. So what is cos theta coming? Cos theta is coming minus 13 divided by 10 root 7. What is theta coming? Theta is coming cos inverse, shift this side, cos inverse minus of 13 divided by 10 root 7. I am teaching you all these things, vectors and all, because in the very first chapter, electrostatics, we will deal with electric field vector, dipole moment vector, things like these. So until unless you have solid foundation of vectors, you will find it difficult to understand all those concepts. लोगों को डर लगता है वेक्टर डिफरेंशिएशन इंटीग्रेशन इन छोटी छोटी चीजों से कोशिश ये हो रही है कि आपका वो डर कम हो जाए Note down this much. Now, just find me the angle between these two vectors. A is 3i cap plus 4j cap. B 3i cap minus 4j cap. Do it fast. Find out angle between these two vectors. A is 3i cap plus 4j cap and B is 3i cap minus 4j cap. Write down the answer in the comment box. Everyone give it a try. Very easy question. You already have the procedure in front of you. Everyone should give it a try. Write down whatever you get, wrong or correct, doesn't matter. Just give it a try. First thing, A dot B. We can answer the whole thing in just one line. How do you find dot if vectors are given in terms of I and j? I with I. 3 multiplied by 3, 9. J with j. 4 multiplied by minus 4, minus 16. So when you go for dot, that's how you find dot. I, J, J. Then, how do you find magnitude? This is a vector. How do you find magnitude? Square of I, square of j. How do you find magnitude of vector B? Square of I, square of j, multiplied by cos of theta. In one line, you can answer this question. This is minus of 7. This is root 25. Root 25 into cos of theta. This is giving you cos theta as minus of 7 divided by 25. What is theta? Theta is coming cos inverse minus of 7 upon 25. That's the answer. Note down this. Now write down cross product. And remember, dot and cross will need both these products in electrostatics, the very first chapter. Both parts are required. We need dot when we deal with potential. Electric potential will be explained with the help of dot. And dipole, when you go for torque on the dipole, you will need to have information of cross. So this is something which we'll need immediately after these mathematical classes. What is cross product? This cross product is also called vector product. Your cross product or vector product contains both magnitude as well as direction. When you deal with the cross product, you get both things. You get magnitude, at the same time you get direction. Now what is cross? Again, we have two vectors A and B. Plot the vectors, join them together with their tails, show this angle theta. A cross B is AB sine theta. This is the magnitude part. What is cross product? It's a vector thing. The product is a vector. Since product is a vector, every vector has two things. One is the magnitude followed by direction. For direction, we use unit vectors, and this unit vector is normally written as eta cap. This n type of thing is called eta cap, just like alpha, beta, theta. This is eta cap. What is eta cap? This eta cap is for direction. AB sin theta is giving you the magnitude. Magnitude followed by unit vector. This eta cap, also remember, is a unit vector. You'll understand it in just a minute. As of now, write down this formula, AB sin theta, eta cap. This is the magnitude and this is the direction. Now regarding direction, most important thing is finding direction in cross product. Write down the statement. Direction of cross product, direction of cross product of A and B, direction of cross product of A and B is perpendicular to the plane of A and B. Is perpendicular to the plane of A and B. What does it mean? What is plane of A and B? Look at this is A and this is B. Plane of the board is the plane of A and B. The plane in which A and B lie. That is called plane of A and B. So this is your A and this is your B. They are lying in this plane. And cross product says direction of cross product A and B is perpendicular to this plane. Now perpendicular to this plane is, if you say this, look at this red marker, then this red marker is perpendicular to A. It's not perpendicular to B. If you look at this, it's perpendicular to B but not to A. We need something which is perpendicular to both A and B. That is this. What is this? If you have two vectors and you choose a third vector like this, then this red vector, if you can see, let's see one by one. This red is perpendicular to blue. Again, this red is also perpendicular to the black. So when you have something, when you say something is perpendicular to the plane of A and B, then your cross product is always perpendicular to what? These two vectors. Continue the statement, which means cross product is perpendicular to both vectors A and B. Which means cross product is perpendicular to both vectors A and B. अब आ रहा है important part regarding direction. अभी हमने केवल क्या decide किया है अभी तक? So far we have done what? We have decided only one thing, and that is what? Your cross product is perpendicular to the plane of A and B. केवल इतना decide हुआ है. But there are two options. You can have your AB like this, or like this. Again, this is A and this is B. Then this, let me show you in this form. The red one is pointing in this direction, or it can point in this direction. If it points in this direction, then also it's perpendicular to A and B. If it points in this direction, then also it's perpendicular to A and B. So how do you decide which perpendicular you have to take? This one or this one? That is decided with the help of right hand. Continue the statement. Curl curl right hand fingers, curl right hand fingers from A to B. Curl right hand fingers from A to B. Then thumb, points in the direction of cross product. Then thumb points in the direction of cross product. Look here. This is A. This is B. Take your right hand, curl your right hand from A to B. Remember, curl using your right hand. Curl with right hand. From the first vector towards the second vector. Keep your thumb like this, not this, not this, like this. So if you keep your thumb like this, from A to B, from A to B, when I curl, this thumb is pointing inwards. बोर्ड के अंदर की तरफ जा रहा है. This thumb in. So A cross B, its direction of A cross B, if they ask you is what, you will say that its direction is this. Whenever a vector goes inside like this, it is shown with the help of a cross. So in this setup, this is A, this is B. When you curl from A to B, this is the direction of A cross B, which is inwards. What is the direction? Direction means direction of this eta cap. Just note down everything and don't worry at all. I will take a very elementary example and you will understand all these things. But as of now, draw this, show the direction like this, write down inwards. Now, let's understand this curling in and out with very easy I and J. When you plot x, y, and z, you know that this is I cap, this is minus I cap, this is j, this is minus j. Now this is x, this is y, this is z. What is z? Z is this. This is x, this is y, this is minus x, this is minus y. X, y, z. So out is z. This is z. Then this is minus of z. Again, x, y, this is z. I hope you can see it now. The red marker which I am holding is z. So, from x to y, and you get z. For x, you have I cap. For y, you have got j cap. For z, we use k cap. For minus z, we use minus k cap. Again, something you must be knowing already. Somebody came and asked us what is the value of I cross j. What we have learned so far, if we need I cross j, we'll write magnitude of first vector multiplied by magnitude of second vector multiplied by angle and sine of that angle, sine 90. This is your I, this is your j. Now, the thing which was called eta cap, when we wrote the basic formula, we wrote eta cap. What was eta cap? A unit vector. Unit vectors are used for what? Direction. We already have the magnitude, we just need to find what direction. So what is this eta cap? Take your right hand, curve from first towards the second. Right hand, curl it from the first to second like this. This curling is coming from I to j. Don't forget to use your right hand. So, I to j. Then, what is that which gives you the direction? Thumb. I to j. I to j. Thumb. It's coming out. Now, what is that unit vector which is coming out? What is that unit vector which is coming out? Z or k cap. And therefore, this eta cap, just remove it. It means you need to put some unit vector. And that unit vector in this case is k cap. What is sine 90? 1. So your I cross j is coming what? K cap. Note down this much. Note down this and write down this in the answer comment box. Because you all have been taught dot and cross in 11. So I hope you know these things. Note down everything and then write down the answer of k cross I in the comment box. regarding k cross I, just remember this trick. You know the proper method. Write down the trick for finding I cross J, J cross I, things like that. Write down I, J, K twice. Like this. I, J, K, I, J, K. X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z. If you are moving in this direction, you will get positive things. If you are moving in this direction, you will get negative things. How do you get positive and negative things? Now, they asked us I cross J. Look at the trick. I cross J. Pick up the next one, K cap. You're going this way, it should be positive. I cross J is what? K cap. Again, if they go for J cross I, what is J cross I? J cross I, next one. But you are moving in this direction. And therefore things are what? Negative. J cross I is what? Minus of K cap. Minus of K cap. Similarly, if somebody says find out J cross K, J cross K, next thing, I, you're moving in this direction, things are positive. What is J cross K? I cap. If they say K cross J, K cross J is the next one, I to the left, and therefore minus I. Now, I asked you K cross I. So if you need K cross I, you will do what? K cross I, the next one. K, I, next one, J. Moving this side, this is coming plus J cap. And if somebody says find out I cross K, you will say minus of J cap. It's a very easy trick. It helps you in remembering these numbers. Note down the trick first. And I hope you understand the advantage of giving you all this mathematical knowledge, because half of you answered K cross I as minus of J. That means you were confused. You were confused in very easy and elementary things. Things which can be remembered in just one line. If somebody says that K cross I is minus J, you will be committing silly mistakes. Why waste few numbers over things which can be understood in just one line? And that is the reason I am giving you all this knowledge right now. Now remember a few things. If you go for I cross I, write down the answer of I cross I in the comment box first. What is I cross I? When you are going to take the cross, it will be what? 1 into sine of 0. Before you could use the unit vector for direction, that is gone. This is 1 into sine of what? Angle between I and I. This is coming what? 0. What is I cross I? 0. Similarly this. Whenever you go for cross product of, not like I and I or J and J, any two vectors which are parallel. In dot, what was the statement? Dot product of any two vectors which are perpendicular. In cross, what is the statement? Cross product of any two vectors which are parallel. Once they are parallel, you will get sine 0, which will make the whole thing what? 0. Write down the statement. Cross product of any two parallel vectors, cross product of any two parallel vectors is always 0. Cross product of any two parallel vectors is always 0. The last line for today's class, and rest we'll discuss in the next. If you write A dot B, this is same as B dot A, because things are scalar. A dot B is same as B dot A, but A cross B is not B cross A. It's a vector thing. If you say A cross B, if you say this is A, this is B, A cross B, thumb is going in. If you say B cross A, thumb is coming out. They are not saying A cross B is minus of B cross A. Note down this and then you can leave. Thank you very much.